Namaste Bitya, Hamisha खुश रहो बिटिया. A very good morning to you all. Myself, JVN Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine and Faculty of Homeopathic Science at Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In this series, we are discussing about the diseases of the locomotor system. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the diseases of the locomotor system, which included reactive arthritis, infective arthritis. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about a new topic of the locomotor system, which is known as reactive arthritis. In the last lecture, we have discussed about ankylosing spondylosis. Today, we are going to discuss about reactive arthritis. We are going to learn what is reactive arthritis, what is the etiopathogenesis, what are the various clinical features, the various investigation, and how to manage a case of reactive arthritis. In this series, we have discussed about osteoarthritis. We have also discussed about rheumatoid arthritis and also ankylosing spondylitis. Today, we are going to discuss about reactive arthritis. Reactive arthritis is an important question because we sometimes get a short note on this particular topic. So let's start with reactive arthritis. What is reactive arthritis? Reactive arthritis refers to acute non-purulent arthritis that is complicating an infection elsewhere in the body. So this is basically a non-purulent arthritis that is complicating an infection elsewhere in the body. And the term has been used primarily to refer to spondyloarthritis following enteric or urogenital infections. So after the enteric or urogenital infection, if any sort of spondyloarthritis is occurring in the patient, it is known as spondyloarthritis or reactive arthritis. There is association of acute arthritis with episodes of diarrhea and urethritis have been recognized. So there is an association of acute arthritis with the episodes of diarrhea and urethritis that are seen in this particular case. During the World War I and II, there is triad of arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis. So we had a triad consisting of arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis. We had three things: arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis that were seen in the patient, often with the additional mucocutaneous lesions that became widely known. All right. So whenever we are talking about reactive arthritis, it is basically non-virulent arthritis that is complicating an infection elsewhere in the body. The term has been primarily referred to as spondyloarthritis following enteric or urogenital infections. There is association of acute arthritis with episodes of diarrhea and urethritis. And during the World War I and II, triad means three types of symptoms were observed, which included arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis. So we have observed arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis that became with the addition of mucocutaneous lesions, which became widely known. Now, what is the pathology? Pathology of reactive arthritis. The clinical manifestations were triggered by enteric infections, which include Shigella, Salmonella, Yersinia, and Campylobacter species. So there are various enteric infections, which includes Shigella, Salmonella, Yersinia, and Campylobacter species. Various types of genital infections, which includes Chlamydia trachomatis. There is also an evidence of incomplicating Clostridium difficile, certain toxic E. coli, and possibly other agents. There is also synovial history, and that is similar to that of spondyloarthritis, having enteritis, which shows increased vascularity and macrophage infiltration or fibrocartilage. So the clinical manifestations are triggered by enteric infections and various genital infections. The enteric infection includes the Shigella, Salmonella, Yersinia, and Campylobacter species, and genital infection is triggered by Chlamydia trachomatis. There is also an evidence of implicating Clostridium difficile, certain toxigenic E. coli, and possibly other agents. There is synovial histology that is similar to that of other spondyloarthritis, and enthesitis shows increased vascularity and macrophage infiltration of fibrocartilage. Reactive arthritis has been associated with GI infections with Shigella, Salmonella, and Campylobacter species, and other microorganisms, which as well as genitourinary infections, especially in Chlamydia trachomatis. We have Yersinia, Klebsiella, Shigella, Salmonella, Chlamydia, and Mycoplasma that are responsible for development of reactive arthritis. Now, what is the epidemiology? There is an association of reactive arthritis with HLA-B27, the same association that we saw in ankylosing spondylitis. Having HLA-B27, the age group is 18 to 40 years of age in which we are seeing reactive arthritis. The gender ratio in reactive arthritis following enteric infection is nearly 1:1, whereas the venerally acquired reactive arthritis occurs mainly in the men. It has become one of the most common rheumatic disease in Africans in the wake of AIDS epidemic. So in the wake of AIDS epidemic, we have seen a lot of patients suffering from this particular disease. Now, reactive arthritis is affecting the eyes, it is affecting the vertebra, the sacroiliac joints, the buttocks, the lower back pain, urethra with the scaly patches. We have swollen ankles and sausage toes. All these features are seen in case of reactive arthritis. So the symptoms of reactive arthritis affect the eyes, the vertebra, the lower back pain, sacroiliac joints in the buttocks, urethra with the scaly patches, swollen knees, swollen ankles, and sausage toes. Now we come to the clinical features. So the clinical features of reactive arthritis, these constitute the spectrum that range from isolated transient monoarthritis. There can be isolated transient monoarthritis, means involvement of a single joint, or enthesis to the severe multisystem disease. So there can be isolated transient monoarthritis or enthesitis, that is inflammation of the enthesis, to the severe multisystem disease. A careful history taking will elicit the evidence of antecedent infection 1 to 4 weeks before the onset of symptoms. There is constitutional symptoms, which includes fatigue, malaise, fever, and weight loss. So there is fatigue, thakkan bani rehti hai, there is malaise, fever, and weight loss. The musculoskeletal symptoms are usually acute in the onset. The arthritis is symmetrical and additive, with the involvement of new joint that is occurring over a few days to 1 to 2 weeks. So there are constitutional symptoms of fatigue, malaise, fever, and weight loss. The musculoskeletal system are usually acute in onset. There is arthritis, it is asymmetrical and additive, with the involvement of new joint that occurring over few days to 1 to 2 weeks. So there will be inflammation of the eyes. There will be lower back pain, diarrhea, scaly skin patches on the genitalia. There will be flaky skin patches on the toes. Sausage toes will be there. Swelling in the knees, heel, or ball of the foot will be there. I have shown you different pictures in the presentation by which you can come to know about all these, the inflammation of the fingers, the sausage-shaped fingers, the polydactylitis, the different pictures of the different signs and symptoms you are going to see in case of reactive arthritis. In reactive arthritis, the joints of the lower extremities, especially the knees, ankles, and subtalar joint, the metatarsophalangeal joint, and the toes, interphalangeal joints are commonly involved. The joints are usually quite painful and sense of joint effusion. There is dactylitis or the sausage digits, a diffuse swelling of the solitary finger or toe. It is a distinctive feature. There is tendinitis and fasciitis that are characteristic lesions producing pain at multiple insertion sites. This is known as enthesis. The sites includes Achilles insertion, the plantar fascia, and sites along the axial scalpel. So there are various joints of the lower extremities, especially the knee, ankle, subtalar, and metatarsophalangeal joints, and the toe interphalangeal joint that are commonly involved. The joints are usually quite painful with a tense with joint effusion. There is dactylitis or the sausage-shaped digits, a diffuse swelling of solitary finger or toes is distinctive feature. There is tendinitis and fasciitis that are characteristic lesion producing pain at multiple insertion site or enthesis. The site include Achilles insertion, the plantar fascia, and the sites along the axial skeleton. We also observe dactylitis or the sausage-shaped fingers, that is the swollen fingers. It is a pathological condition in which there is inflammation of the fingers or toes, giving them the shape of a sausage, which gives its name. The fingers appear swollen and plump, and affected individual find it difficult to adequately use the fingers. There is spinal low back pain and the buttock pain that is quite common. It is caused by insertional inflammation. There is muscle spasm, acute sacroiliitis, osteoarthritis in the intervertebral joints. There are different types of urogenital lesions in the males, urethritis that occurs in both post-venereal and post-enteric reactive arthritis. There is prostatitis is also common. In females, we have cervicitis, salpingitis, may be the cause either by the infective trigger or by the sterile reactive processes. There are various ocular diseases, which includes transient asymptomatic conjunctivitis to an aggressive anterior uveitis may result in the blindness. So the symptoms include spinal, low back, and buttock pain. These are quite common. It is caused by insertional inflammation, muscle spasm, acute sacroiliitis, oroarthritis in intervertebral joints. There are different urogenital lesions in males. Urethritis occurs in both post-venereal and post-enteric reactive arthritis. There is prostatitis is also common. In females, we have cervicitis or salpingitis that may be caused by the infectious triggers or by the sterile reactive process. We have ocular disease that is transient asymptomatic conjunctivitis to an aggressive anterior uveitis that may result in the blindness. There are various types of mucocutaneous lesions that are seen on the skin. There are painless lesions on the glans penis that is known as cercinate balanitis or oral mucosa. There is also keratoderma, glenoregica, cutaneous vesicles that becomes hyperkeratotic, most common on the soles and palms. Different type of nail changes are common and consist of onycholysis. Uncommon manifestations includes pleuropericarditis, cardiac conduction defect, aortic regurgitation, neurological manifestation, and secondary amyloidosis. So there are different type of mucocutaneous lesions that are painless lesions of glans penis, cercinate balanitis, oral mucosa, keratoderma, glenoregica, cutaneous vesicles that becomes hyperkeratotic, most common on the soles and palms. There are various nail changes that are commonly consist of onycholysis. Uncommon manifestations includes pleuropericarditis, cardiac conduction defects, aortic regurgitation, neurological manifestations, and secondary amyloidosis. Arthritis, reactive arthritis usually typically persists for 3 to 5 months, but the recurrence of acute syndrome are usually common. So reactive arthritis persists for 3 to 5 months, but recurrences of acute syndrome are common. There is work disability or forced change in the occupation is the common in those with persistent joint symptoms. There is chronic heel pain that is distressing. So reactive arthritis typically persists for 3 to 5 months, but recurrence of this acute syndrome are common. There is work disability or forced change of occupation that is common in those with persisting joint symptoms. There is chronic heel pain that is distressing. In the lab finding, we have pursuit of triggering infection by culture. There is serology or molecular methods. There is rheumatoid factor and anti-nuclear antibody negative. There is also mild anemia, leukocytosis, and elevated ESR. There is association of HLA-B27 that is associated following a prevalence of 50% may be helpful in atypical cases and may have prognostic significance. The HIV screening should be performed in all the patients. So in the lab findings, we have to proceed for triggering infections by culture, serology, or molecular methods. There is rheumatoid factor and anti-nuclear antibody negative with mild anemia, leukocytosis, and elevated ESR. There is HLA-B27 association following the prevalence of less than 50%. It may be helpful in atypical cases and may have prognostic significance. There is HIV screening should be performed in all the patients. In the investigation, polymerase chain reaction for chlamydial DNA in the first voided urine specimen may have a high sensitivity. There is synovial fluid analysis, often very inflammatory, with negative for the crystal of or infections. The synovial fluid often contains giant macrophages that is known as Reiter's cells. So polymerase chain reaction for chlamydial DNA in the first voided urine specimen may have a higher sensitivity. Synovial fluid analysis often very inflammatory, negative for crystals or infections. There is synovial fluid often contains giant macrophages that is Reiter's cells. In the radiographs, in the early or mild disease, radiographic changes are usually absent or confined to the juxta-articular osteoporosis. There is erosion and loss of joint spaces. It is seen with new periosteal bone formation. There is ossification of the anthesis, sacroiliitis, often unilateral. There are spurs at the insertion of the planta fascia, which are common. The syndesmophytes are non-marginal. There are coarse, asymmetric, and comma-shaped, arising from the middle of vertebral body, a pattern less commonly seen in primary ankylosing spondylitis. There is progression to spinal fusion is uncommon. So in the radiographs, there is early or mild disease that has radiographic changes are absent or confined to the juxtaarticular osteoporosis. There are erosions and loss of joint space is seen in the new periosteal bone formation with ossification of enthesis, sacroiliitis, often unilateral. There are spurs at the insertion of plantar fascia are common. The syndesmophytes are non-marginal, coarse, asymmetrical, and comma-shaped, arising from the middle of the vertebral body, a pattern less commonly seen in case of primary ankylosing spondylitis. There is progression to spinal fusion that is common. There is uncommon. Now, differential diagnosis. The various diseases which resembles this particular reactive arthritis. We have septic arthritis, which is due to gram-positive or gram-negative bacteria. There is gonococcal arthritis, crystalline arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis. So in the differential diagnosis, we have septic arthritis, gonococcal arthritis, crystalline arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis. The treatment part. Most of the patients with reactive arthritis benefit from high dose of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So in most of the patient, we are giving non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Indomethacin is an initial treatment of choice. Prompt antibiotic treatment of acute chlamydial urethritis may prevent subsequent reactive arthritis. There is tendinitis and other enthesitis lesions which benefit from the intralesional glucocorticoids. The skin lesions ordinarily require only symptomatic topical treatment. Uveitis require therapy with ocular and or systemic glucocorticoids. Sulfasalazine may be beneficial to the patient with persistent reactive arthritis. So we have the treatment consists of NSAIDs, indomethacin, that is initial treatment of choice. Prompt antibiotic treatment of acute chlamydial urethritis may prevent subsequent reactive arthritis. Tendinitis and other enthesitic lesions. Skin lesions ordinarily require only symptomatic topical treatment. Uveitis require ocular or systemic glucocorticoids, and sulfasalazines may be beneficial in the patient with persistent reactive arthritis. So this was all about reactive arthritis. I hope you have understood this session properly. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about psoriatic arthritis. So this session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my session today. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all about reactive arthritis. Let me have a quick review of reactive arthritis once again, very fast. Reactive arthritis is basically due to any infection or non-purulent arthritis that was complicating an infection elsewhere in the body. It refers to spondyloarthritis following enteric or urogenital infection. There are three things: arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis. That is seen: arthritis, urethritis, and conjunctivitis. Pathology is triggered by enteric infection and genital infection. Enteric infection, Shigella, Salmonella, Yersinia, Campylobacter, and genital infection by Chlamydia species. The epidemiology, it is associated with HLA-B27 and age group 18 to 40 years. All right. It was seen commonly with AIDS epidemic. The clinical features includes wide spectrum of diseases, symptoms related to the joint and extra-articular manifestation. A careful history elicit evidence of antecedent infection 1 to 4 weeks before the onset of symptoms. There are constitutional symptoms which include fatigue, malaise, fever, and weight loss. There are various musculoskeletal systems which actually acute in onset. Arthritis is asymmetrical and iterative, and involvement of the new joint occurs over a few days to 1 to 2 weeks. Now, joints of the lower extremities, particularly knee joint and the subtalar metatarsophalangeal joint, toe joint, interphalangeal joint are commonly involved. We have dactylitis or the sausage digits are seen. Tendinitis or fasciitis are seen in the insertion point. The sites include Achilles insertion, plantar fascia, and the sites of axial skeleton. Spinal low back pain is seen. Urogenital lesions in male, urethritis, and prostatitis is also common. In female, cervicitis and symphysitis is seen. Ocular lesion consists of transient asymptomatic conjunctivitis to aggressive anterior uveitis, leading to blindness. Mucocutaneous lesions are usually painless lesions on the glans penis, oral mucosa, keratoderma, blenorrhegica. Cutaneous vesicles that becomes hyperkeratotic are less commonly soles and palms. Nail changes are common and consist of onycholysis. Uncommon manifestations includes pleuropericarditis, cardiac conduction defects, aortic regurgitation, neurological manifestation, and secondary amyloidosis. Arthritis, this reactive arthritis typically persists for 3 to 5 months, but the recurrence of the acute syndrome is common. Work disability and forced change of occupation results. Chronic heel pain is seen. In the investigation, we have to go for infection by culture, serology, and molecular methods. We have to search for the infection. Rheumatoid factor and anti-nuclear antibodies are negative. Mild anemia, leukocytosis, elevated ESR is seen. HLA-B27 is present in less than 50%, and HIV screening has to be performed in all the patients. Polymerase chain reaction for chlamydia, DNA, and first voided urine specimen has to be checked for. Synovitis fluid analysis has to be done. Synovial fluid containing giant macrophages or Reuters cells. Radiographs can be checked for the mild disease. Radiographic changes are absent or confined to juxta-articular osteoporosis, erosion and loss of joint space. There are bony spurs are seen. The syndesmophytes are non-marginal, and progression to spinal fusion is uncommon. TD consists of septic arthritis, gonococcal arthritis, crystalline arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis. The treatment consists of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, indomethacin, prompt antibiotic treatment, intralesional glucocorticoids. The skin lesions require symptomatic topical treatment. Uveitis require therapy with ocular or systemic glucocorticoids, and sulfasalazines may be beneficial with the persistent reactive arthritis. So this was all about reactive arthritis. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about psoriatic arthritis. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope the session is clear to you. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. This was all for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.